she don't mean a thing. She just had eyes of fire in a heart so cold. One touch, lost control. Oh, it's one of those times. Sometimes a man is wrong. Oh, she took 5 sips. Oh, she was gone. Oh, it's one of those times. Oh, it's one of those times. Thank you.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, that was weird. That was very weird. And that was Facebook there for a moment acting up. I believe the feed is going through fine at this moment. And if you can't see anything, please let me know. I am looking, and I do want to say hello, first of all, to Howie Coleman. I see you're there. I see we have a couple of people checking out everything as we speak. But if for some reason you are having difficulty seeing it, if the feed's not going through properly, let me know, because it looks like Facebook might be playing some games. That being said, let's get into this. We're going to be talking about something. It shouldn't take too long, really. I just want to share why I think that we saw Representative Eric Swalwell, leave the Democratic race and was instantly swapped out for Tom Steyer. And I think there's a reason for this. I don't think it's very simply, I don't think it's that Swalwell realized suddenly after months that no one cares about him. I don't think it's the fact that suddenly he realized that he's getting no traction whatsoever and was never going to make it onto the main stage, and that his hopes to be in, whether it would be vice president or one of the cabinet members, he just wasn't going to get it. But I think the reason for that is not as, it's not what the mainstream media would want you to believe. It's not the reasoning that I think most pundits are going to even notice. It's something that I've come across, and I think it's pretty descriptive of what's going on in the politics right now when we're talking about the Democratic the batch of candidates in the Democratic nominees, all 20 of them plus. So let's really look at what it is, because, and I'm gonna do something here, because a lot of people don't know who Tom Steyer is. Excuse me, I'm tongue-tied. Just came back from work. Tom Steyer is a advocate of climate change. He is an advocate of the impeachment of President Trump, and he is super rich. He's a billionaire. Okay, so those are his big calling cards, the big claims to fame. He is an extremist. He is a progressive. He is in line with the progressive politics that we see virtually every candidate in the Democratic race are looking for. Now, one of the things I really want to focus on here is, what are we really looking at? When we say the Democratic candidates, who are we talking about? Who really matters? Quite honestly, there's roughly 6 people in this entire race, and everyone else you can just throw out the window. There's Bernie Sanders, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Elizabeth Warren. Those 4, that's the real race. Then there's the also rans. There's Pete Buttigieg, there is Robert Beto O'Rourke, and Cory Booker. Now, that's who I'm going to really focus on in this, but I wanted to make sure that you see this chart to see exactly where they're standing. And the fact is that we're seeing Joe Biden is about to end. He's getting stomped. He's going to be out of this race soon. We're seeing that Bernie Sanders, he's getting stomped. He's going to be out of this race soon. So the real choices here are going to be between Harris, Warren, and that's about it. That's the real race right now. At least that's what I've been calling, and I've been calling that since October of 2018, that the real race for the Democratic Party is going to be all women. It's going to be Warren and Harris trying to figure out who's going to be president, who's going to be vice president. It's all women against the evil, horrible Trump, the misogyny of Trump, and they have a woman of color in there as well, so they can throw in race. That's my opinion. So that comes back to, so what's going on with Tom Steyer and what's going on with Eric Swalwell? Okay, let's make it real simple. What we're seeing with each and every one of these candidates is that every single one of the Democratic nominees, all 20 of them, all 20 plus, are there for one reason. They're there to fill a box. The Democratic Party right now is looking at gender and identity politics, which means that none of the individuals actually matter. It's not about the individuals. It's all about and only about the categories that they fill. Cory Booker isn't important because he's a senator. Cory Booker isn't important because he's black. Cory Booker is important because he fills the box of black people, black Democrats, and males. That's it. And conversely, or concurrently, we have Kamala Harris. She's a black woman. She fills that box. We have Pete Buttigieg. He's filling in the gay box. So these are the boxes. And when you look at Eric Swalwell, what was he really filling in? What box was he handling? Quite honestly, it was anti-guns, white male. That's about it. Hey, Michael Coletti joined, and I'm happy to see you here, Michael. So that's what we're seeing with Representative Eric Swalwell. He's a member of Congress. They didn't have anyone else who's a member of Congress. They had Beto, of course, who was a former member of Congress, but no one who's a current member of Congress. They needed a white male. He's young, and he's anti-gun. But the thing is, most people in America aren't anti-gun. In fact, most people in America believe in the Second Amendment, even Democrats. Yes, libertarians, Republicans, conservatives, and Democrats believe that the Second Amendment is important, especially when you start considering that if we look at the socialist nations in the world, and in particular, the darling of the socialists, which was Venezuela just 3-4 years ago, and we look at it today, they got rid of the guns, and they're killing. Now the government is going around killing the now unarmed citizens because they can, and no one can defend themselves against it. In fact, the New York Times on July 4th released an article noting that 7,000 people have been killed by secret death squads of the Venezuelan socialist government for the last 2 years. So that tells you a lot. And that's one of the reasons why most Americans believe in the Second Amendment, because governments can't be trusted. That's just a fact. But let's really look at this. So when we're looking at this, and I really want to give you the numbers here, and so that you can see this yourself and really go over this. When we think about Joe Biden, what does Joe Biden actually represent? Joe Biden actually represents, he's the relatively non-socialist, moderate Democrat of the entire Democratic nominee race. He's the one person who's not an absolute progressive. He's not an absolute socialist. So he's there to grab that crowd. He's there to grab the whites. He's there to grab males. He's there to grab people who are straight and old, and in particular rich. That's his basket. And he's there to collect money for that. And I'll explain it. And then you look at Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is his counterpart. He's exactly like Joe. He's white, he's male, he's straight, he's old, he's rich, but he's for the progressive socialist wing of the Democratic Party. And he's the one who kicked it off. So he's there for those votes. And he's there to grab, and really it's not about votes, it's about money. He's there to get that basket of money for the eventual candidates of president and vice president, which I will get to. Then you've got Kamala Harris. Senator Kamala Harris, she fills the black, straight, socialist, anti-gun, race and gender identity, and women vote. That's it. She's there for all of those things. These are the things that she's promoting out there. She wants to take away the tax cuts, crush businesses across the nation, increase unemployment so that she can pay everyone in America $650 a year. That's one of the, she came up with that idea back in December of 2018. Before everyone started paying attention to the race, she was testing that idea. It was later picked up by Andrew Yang, but I'll get into that. But that's her thing. She's there for the black votes. She's there for the minority votes. She's there for the women votes. And she's there for the socialist votes. That's her thing. Elizabeth Warren, the fake Pocahontas. Okay, so she's there to also try and pick up some of the minority votes because she still considers herself, and we know that if you consider yourself a toaster, you are a toaster. If you think you're a cat, you're a cat. Under the current identity politics, you're whatever you decide to declare yourself as. And Elizabeth Warren is a Native American Indian, about as much as I am a Samoan, but she's a Native American Indian, she's white, she's straight, she's a progressive, and she has the woman vote. So that's what she's there for. Now, between those four, that's the majority of the entire race. Joe Biden is at 27%. Bernie Sanders is at 15%. You have Kamala Harris at 15%. And you have Elizabeth Warren at 13%. Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders are on their way falling to the floor. And rising up is Kamala Harris, followed by Elizabeth Warren staying stable. What other boxes do we have that have yet to be mentioned? Well, there's the gay vote, okay? And that's where Governor Pete Buttigieg steps in at that point. And he fills in the white, male, gay, young, progressive. That's his thing. And he's going to collect money for those groups. You have the fake Hispanic, Beto O'Rourke, who's Robert O'Rourke. He fills in the white. He fills in the want to be something other than you are. He wants to be a minority, even though he's not. So he fills that in. He wants to be a Hispanic. He's young. He's straight. He's progressive. And he has the wonderful benefit of being a former member of Congress who lost to Ted Cruz, who lost to President Trump. So he's the guy who lost to the guy who lost to the president. That's his claim to fame. But he's there to collect even more money. And then we have Cory Booker, rounding up the second tier. And Cory Booker is, again, black, straight, progressive. He's pro-women because he's already guaranteed that if he were to move forward, which isn't going to happen, he'd have a female vice president. And he's also very anti-gun. Oh, and he's also pro-illegal alien. His recent trip to Mexico to import illegal aliens back into the United States, violating laws, and basically just a criminal act, which in any other race at any other time in the history of America would invalidate him and also get him arrested, as well as getting him kicked out of the Senate. No, in America today, that actually is something that's considered by some people to be a positive. You know, not following the law. You're supposed to be the chief executive. That's what he wants to be. The chief executive is there to follow the laws, to enforce the laws. And he's out there breaking the laws. So I don't know how that works for anyone else, but for me, that just tells me he's not worth the job. Now, again, at any point, if anyone disagrees with me, kick in, tell me why you think I'm wrong. If you think this doesn't make sense, tell me. I'll explain it even more if I'm not explaining it well. But that's what these people are here for. They're here to fill the boxes. They're filling the white vote. They're filling the female vote. They're filling the gay vote. They're filling the minority vote. They're filling the anti-guns. They're filling the progressives, the socialists, and the moderate boxes. That's all they're there for. And there's a couple of people who are in a little bit special, which is Andrew Yang, who's at, oh, by the way, just to be clear, I didn't mention it, Pete Buttigieg, 5%. Beto O'Rourke, the fake Hispanic, he's at 2.6%. Cory Booker, 2.1%. By the way, they have been there at those levels since the day we started seeing the race. Since people started actually checking out what the rankings were, that's where they've been. And I'll show you. It's on the chart. You can check this out for yourself. Go to Real Clear Politics and look at their polling data. These guys haven't moved. Pete Buttigieg, since he got into the race, Beto O'Rourke, since the time he got into the race, Cory Booker, since he's been in the race, they have not moved. They are exactly at the same levels, and they're not going to go anywhere. So the two special people to mention, though, is Andrew Yang. He fills a really big and important spot for Democrats, and that is that he goes for the Asian vote, something that they haven't been appealing to because they didn't care. Quite honestly, they didn't care. So he fills in the Asian, straight, male, and he's a big-time socialist. He's also independently wealthy. And that leaves us with the final special entry, which is Julian Castro, who is Hispanic, male, straight, progressive, and he's there specifically to beg for the illegal aliens to get them to vote. And we're talking about that's for California, that's for New York, where illegal aliens are allowed to be able to have driver's licenses. In California, they're allowed to vote in certain races. In New York, they're going to vote because since they have a driver's license, they can automatically get registered to vote, and they're going to be voting in elections and may have already done so in the New York primaries just 2 weeks ago. This is the Democratic policy. And what's going to happen with each and every one of these? They're going to drop out the race. You're going to see them go. You're going to see Yang, Castro, Beto, Booker, Buttigieg, and the other 14 people who I haven't even mentioned. We're talking about Kirsten Gillibrand. We're talking about Bill de Blasio, Hickenlooper, Bennett, Delaney. No one knows who they are. No one cares who they are. They're meaningless. They are there only to suck up money. They are there to take money from whatever particular group is out there that hasn't been addressed by someone else. That's it. They're there to just grab money. They're a redundancy to make sure that they are grabbing as much money from Democrats throughout the spectrum of Democrats across the nation to make sure they are able to get as much money as possible so that when they drop out the race, the Democratic National Committee will take that money and they will put it into whomever is left, whoever they choose to be that final candidate, which I again say is going to be either Kamala Harris or Elizabeth Warren. And they're going to give them a war chest of everyone else's money. Even though many of the Democrats will be pissed off and be upset that their candidate isn't in and their issues will no longer be cared about, it doesn't matter. They're going to have the war chest of all that money, and they're going to expect that since these are the Democrats that are left standing, that all Democrats are going to vote for them, especially when it's going to be women against Trump. So they're going to say, if you don't vote for these women, you hate women. I guarantee you will hear this in the 2020 election. You will hear pundits say that if you're not voting for Kamala Harris and for Elizabeth Warren, then you hate women, and you are a misogynist, and therefore you love Trump, and you must be a racist as well. They're going to say that, and you're going to hear it. But this is the game they're playing. And so Eric Swalwell doesn't fit. They already have white males. That's already covered. They already have young white males. It's already covered. They already have people who are in elected office in Congress. They already have that covered. They already have actually everything that Swalwell represents. Anti-gun, it's already covered. He doesn't present anything new. He's not going to get money from any new group. In fact, he did not get money from any new group. He didn't get support. That's why he was at zero forever. And that's why he couldn't make the stage. He's a non-entity. He couldn't do anything for the Democratic Party, so the Democratic Party does what it always does. It threw him out the window and said, forget about you, and he's gone. He's thrown away like yesterday's trash. But he's replaced by Tom Steyer. And why would you put in Tom Steyer? Let me say it again. He's super rich. He has his own money. So there's even more money that they can take from him and give to the final candidates. He's for impeachment because no one else is talking about impeachment. They love impeachment. Not Nancy Pelosi, but Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC. She loves impeachment. Tlaib and Omar Ilan, they love impeachment. They can't stop talking about it. So they need somebody on that stage talking about it so that when he goes away, it's not going to be a negative stain on the remaining candidates. And they need somebody talking about climate change. Not their leaders, not the leading candidates, not Kamala, not Warren. No. They need someone else to talk about it so that they can get all the emotions, get everyone riled up, and be able to benefit from that and get all the money and donations when he's up there saying that the world's going to end in the next 12 years, that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is correct, that all of a sudden in 12 years, everything's going to end and everyone's going to die. Well, when he's going to be there to be her puppet, essentially, her speaking, her little puppet to talk and go with all of her bullet points and her talking points. And then when he gets thrown out because it's ridiculous and no one believes in the Green New Deal, Democrats don't believe in the Green New Deal. Democrats would not vote for the Green New Deal. So no one believes in the Green New Deal. No one believes that the world's going to end in 12 years if America itself does not stop, because China could care less, India could care less, 2/3 of Africa could care less, and that's where all of the pollution is coming from. China, India, and 2/3 of Africa. And even if America had no pollution output whatsoever, they would make up for it because they don't care about the Green New Deal. They don't care about climate change because they don't believe in it, or they just don't care about it. So they need somebody to make that point, to get that emotional push. Eric's out. He wouldn't do it. They got someone else to replace him just to get more money from those few Democrats, those few progressives, those students in college and in high school who are out there believing that AOC, who has already admitted on Twitter that her comments about the Green New Deal, about the world ending in 12 years, that she was not serious, that she was joking, that anyone who understood that is, I believe the quote was, had the brain of a sea urchin. That's Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez who said that. So this is what we're looking at. So why is Tom Steyer in the race? To get money. He's there to raise money for the eventual candidate. He is there to raise emotions for the end candidates. He is there to be able to push the emotional agenda, raise money without the main hitters, Warren and Kamala Harris, from taking any of the brunt of the negativity that is associated with climate change, that is associated with impeachment, that is associated with being a white male. That's what they're there for. That's it. I have made the prediction before. I stand by it again. Elizabeth Warren, Kamala Harris, they're going to be vice president and president. They're going to be the two people. It's going to be all women against President Trump, and one of them's going to be black. And this way, they're going to say, if you don't vote for a woman, you're a misogynist, you're a rapist, you're evil. They're going to say that if you don't vote for the black woman, you're a racist, you're a sexist, that you're horrible, and you're evil. That's what they're going to say. I don't think most of America is going to believe that. I don't think most America believes that you have to vote for someone just because of their gender, just because of their identity, just because of their sexual preference. That's not reasons why you vote for someone. Those are not qualifications. That's just who you are. But they're not qualifications, and they don't make you a good or bad person. You know what? You can be gay, straight, whatever. You can be trans, whatever it is. You can be white, black, Hispanic, Asian, I don't care what it is. And you can be a good person and a bad person. You can have good ideas and bad ideas. And we have politicians that represent the entire spectrum. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. But you know what? At the end of the day, that's not what the 2020 Democratic nominees are about. They're about sucking money out of the public's pockets for the only purpose of raising emotions and changing people from looking at the substance of what is in the race and being able to dump that money on their eventual candidates and say, you have to do it or else. I don't know. These are my thoughts on this. Hopefully Facebook has been zeroing this all the way through so that you can see it and it makes sense, but I also post it on YouTube. I just wanted to share my thoughts. It's a little bit longer than I wanted it to be. I wanted to go 20 minutes, but I'm looking for it. I want to hear what you have to say. I'm looking at you, Howie, Mike Cohen, Mike Coletti, Howie Cohen, everybody. If you're seeing this, let me know. If you agree with me, if you think I'm wrong, if you think I missed it altogether, if I don't seem to understand it, I want to hear whatever you think. Right, wrong, indifferent, love me, hate me. Tell me what you think. That's what I'm here for. And let's have that conversation. And until then, I hope everyone's going to have a great evening. I hope you're going to have a great day at work tomorrow. I got to get ready to go to work. But I want everyone else to just relax, have a great evening. Tell me what you think, and I'll talk to you again very, very soon. Thank you, everybody.